We are live! Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Brookelynn Mason. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so tired.
Oh, no.
But look at fabulous while exhausted.
Oh, fabulous while exhausted is probably my MO.
Same.
I've got my iced latte here. We are ready. We come prepared. Are you an iced latte, iced chai, any of those type of person?
My body is so sensitive to caffeine. If I have a soda, I will be up until 3 a.m.
What?
So I know, like all of
Bonkers.
my colleagues and all my friends are like coffee people, and I'm like water people. Water and lemonade is about it.
I also have my water.
Look at you. Hydrate or
Double.
dihydrate.
Yes. Look, it's so funny because now that things are starting to come back and announcements, and I'm like thinking about all these things that I used to do and like how much water I used to have, and then all of the things that associates with, and then like being out for like a whole day at a time. And like, it's just all these things that were just like normal and I have not done in a year and a half. I'm like, oh no.
Oh man. Well, hey, maybe with everyone getting vaccinated, we can get back to some kind of sense of normal.
Yeah.
Fingers
Normal.
crossed. Fingers
Normal.
crossed.
Normal, but better.
All right. Oh, absolutely. I was actually talking to someone the other day about how I may just continue to wear masks just because I really like that nobody talks to me when I go out in public.
That's
like
fair.
everyone just kind of leaves me alone. It's great. I love it.
It's definitely this new idea that you're like, wait, I could do that. That could be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we will be talking about all that and more. And I first want to just say, hey, Lisa.
Hey! Oh my gosh, I have not seen y'all's. I'm gonna cry. I've not seen y'all's faces in so long. I haven't seen Lisa since we saw Emoji Land. Like that is the last time I saw Lisa. Was when we went and saw Emoji Land.
Obsessed.
Same. Who isn't?
I know. I feel like we've jumped right in. I feel like a lot of people watching this are gonna be like, okay, we get this. Yes, Emoji Land. We're gonna be talking about all the shows. There are so many that the two of us know and love and have like obsessively messaged about. And like, before I forget that this is a thing that happened, so I'm wearing my creep shirt because obviously we love Be More Chill. We love Joe Iconis and family. And they had all these exciting announcements today. But what I'm thinking of is, do you remember when I was going to cover the Be More Chill opening night and I was just messaging you like, oh my God, this is happening. What do I do? And it was just very exciting and madness.
Oh my God. I do remember that. I remember because I work from home. I work remotely. I actually live in Arkansas. I just traveled in New York to do things for Yes Broadway as is needed. And I remember like watching everything happen on social media and like watching everything unfold and like these people who, may not know me, but I know a lot about them because I've been working behind the scenes for like the last year.
Yeah.
And just like watching everyone's dreams just like come true and this show. So since we're talking about Be More Chill, it's very close to my heart because it's very close to Sam, who runs Yes Broadway's heart. Yes Broadway would not exist without Be More Chill. It is because of Be More Chill that Sam was like, this show should be like out there. And so he created Yes Broadway specifically to give light to shows that tend to fall under the radar, that are young and hip and will bring young and hip people into the theater that has traditionally been a space not for young people. And so it was very emotional. It was very exciting. I'm so glad that so many people loved it. I'm glad that you loved it. I love that you're wearing your creep shirt because I went to a Tony's party that was hosted by Brian, who does the Broadway Buzz.
Yes.
And I went to that party and wore my creep shirt. So,
yes.
My own little act of rebellion. So
I love it. I know, totally. Everything you're saying is so on point. I mean, Be More Chill, I've talked about it so much, and I will continue talking about it so much. So if you're watching this right now, get ready for it. It brings me so much joy. I was listening to Joe and George's 2-player game album today, but on Spotify, how it then also throws in like Be More Chill and The Lightning Thief and, Broadway Bounty Hunter, like it just anything that's associated with either one of them or similar. And I'm just like, all of these songs are so good and non-skippable. And I just like, I mean, we are 5-6 minutes in and we're just going to jump right in. I love these type of musicals. I love how it's, like you said, bringing in these young hip audiences and hopefully more young and hip critics will be able to review them and therefore get more people to appreciate it. Because the thing is, it's not that there's not an audience for it. We've clearly seen it. I mean, it went viral in so many ways, but we just need people who it's okay if it's not for everyone. We're not saying that it has to be, but we're saying that someone who falls into the demographic that would like it if they liked it would watch it. And now you're like, yeah, okay, cool. We're all on the same page.
Right. No, I completely and totally agree. And I also think that when it comes to this is just something that I've personally noticed, and it may just be my own personal opinion. When you say to a producer, young people, immediately it's like, oh, well, they don't have any money. So part of it is decommodifying art and performance and making theater accessible. Like accessibility is such a huge issue in the professional theater industry, and making art for the young people, because those young people are going to go to college and get degrees and become the next writers of those shows that are going to be the Hamiltons and the West Side Stories and the Beetlejuices and the Hades towns of the world. So it's like, if you don't bring young people in, then when all of these, I don't want to say older, but like when all of these well-seasoned and well-respected artists, are no longer writing the shows, we won't have any shows. So it just makes sense that you would want to bring those people in. Like, that's like the long-term bottom line.
Yes. As you're saying this, I'm thinking of multiple things. One, young people. Love a Broadway Bounty Hunter reference, which is also in turn 13. When will I get it? 13. All the grown-up stuff. Everything you're saying is totally circling back, because I was that kid that saw 13 on Broadway twice. I saw Spring Awakening, Newsies, Legally Blonde the musical, all of those things when I was a kid, and then was like, oh, hey, I love this, and now I'm going to be a theater reporter, and it's all coming back to me now.
All coming back to me. I'm literally like a human jukebox.
Thank you.
It's the karaoke. That's all it is.
And we will be getting to that. Obsessed. So let's rewind a second and go back to the very... Rewind. I remember that night. I just might. I remember. Let's go back to the very beginning. A very good place to start. And let's hear your origin story. What got you into theater and wanting to work at a place like YESBROADWAY and become in the theater world?
So my background is actually classical. When I was a kid, you see all these memes about like gifted kid burnout. Those memes I'm pretty sure they were written about me. Gifted kid that was in like these like gifted kid programs. And one of those was that there's a school district in my state that had a program where like it was one elementary school and then a middle school and then a high school. And you would start learning other languages as early as second grade, which, for America, that's outrageous, even though everywhere else, adults are like bi and trilingual. So I took French and I learned to play the viola, sorry, which is like the alto, like the big sister to the violin. Like she a little stocky, she a little tough. And I played that for 2 years and got into singing and did the choir thing. And just on a whim, in 9th grade, I auditioned for my school's production of Oliver. And was like some random townsperson in literally the consider yourself scene for one dance. But it was actually the community and the camaraderie of being in a show and all the like backstage pranks and the after party and like just get like when you're doing tech week, you get real close with your castmates because you're sitting in that theater for like 12 hours a day, sometimes 14 hours a day for like 8 days in a row. And 90% of the time, all you're doing is standing there while all the tech people get the lighting correct. And then you move 2 feet and then you move 2 feet. And it's just, so that's what got me into theater. And then, for the Yes Broadway bit, it was a happy accident that worked out really, really well. I became hella obsessed with Hamilton and joined all the Hamilton Facebook groups and just happened to see Sam post something about needing someone to come do some writing for this project that he had. And I was like, hi, hello, me, I volunteer as tribute. And so at the time, it was down to me and one other person, and then it was just me. And within 1 month, I was chosen and then flew out to New York to go to my first Broadway con, and it's just been a series of crazy random happenstances ever since.
Obsessed. I love this whole journey. I love how it started with you being in one small little bit and then going to Broadway Con. It's like, what a full spectrum.
Yeah, well, it's so funny because the day I landed, that very first day, because I'd never been to New York before. I'm from a small, like when you see movies that talk about like small racist southern towns, I'm literally from a town like that where our theater program was amazing for the South. And everyone, like when I say amazing, I mean like going to forensics tournaments and winning left and right, nationally and locally and statewide, but still got bullied because it's still the South. So it still wasn't cool to do theater. So big fish in an itty bitty pond. And I remember landing and Sam picking me up from the airport, and I get a phone call from, oddly enough, someone that I'd played World of Warcraft with for like 6 years, who happened to be an usher at the Richard Rodgers Theater.
What?
Right. And so he calls me and he's like, hey, I have these standing room only tickets that were supposed to be reserved for like some friends of mine tonight. They're only $40.
God.
You want to go?
Yes,
and
please.
I was like, hold on. Are you shitting me right now? And he's like, no, like they can't make it anymore and they're for tonight. And because the way that it, like they have to reserve them under their name.
Right.
And if someone doesn't come get them that I know, they'll just go to whoever's standing in line waiting on a ticket. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. And so I look over at Sam and I'm like, so I guess I'm going to go see Hamilton tonight. So within 45 minutes of being in New York City, for the first time in my life, I got tickets to Hamilton.
Okay, and the interview over. Thank you so much. This has been great.
It was like, and Sam like told that story to like all of his friends because it was just so like that's something out of a movie. Like that's just unbelievably ridiculous. Yes. Like, does that happen?
No.
Ever? Apparently, it happened to me. Like it was very strange.
Oh my
and it was
God.
just one thing. It was just one thing after another that just over the last 4 years has gotten insane. It's not real life, Lisa, except that it is. It's my life.
I feel like this is a good Jonathan Larson. Is this real life?
Oh man, it's so wild to me because I remember when Be More Chill was announced that it was going to be moving from the Signature to the Lyceum. And that Broadway con right before they opened. And I remember standing because, I mean, like how they have like the seating in the main hall. And it's like that balcony way up in the back where like all the guests that are about to walk down and all the press people and all their teams and stuff just sit and chill and hang. And I remember standing there next to Sam and watching like the interviews happening with the cast to Be More Chill and just like get like how we were two people like begging for a press badge to now this. And now there's like multiple people that do work for Yes Broadway. Like I'm sure you know Carly, who does the song
association. She's been on the series.
Yeah. And so now there's Carly, Melanie, Joy, like there's all these people that have come together, and it's just wild to me. It's so wild.
I'm obsessed. I know, and everyone has said, oh, hold on, I am hearing a feedback. Are you watching this on YouTube by chance? No. This is so weird. Okay, we're gonna take a quick second. Tell Lisa or anyone else watching, do you hear feedback or is it just in my headphones? La la la.
So voices in your head.
All these voices in my head. The loudest one is mine.
Apparently the YouTube. Whoop!
Oh no.
I just sang so well. I guess that my phone dropped.
The squip is taking over.
Yeah, it's like destroying everything.
Oh my god. Okay, well if you don't hear it, then I'll just deal with this little squip in my ear.
Oh man.
How perfect. Oh my goodness. Did you see that Be More Chill announced London?
I did see it. I did in fact see it. Yes.
I want to be there.
I also want to be there. I'm trying very, very hard to be there. I have, completely unrelated to the West End or the theater industry, I have friends in the UK that I'd love to see, and this is a really good reason. It's a very good excuse to be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna drop $1,200 on a flight. No big deal. Like,
okay, Lisa. Wait, I'm gonna be there. Lisa, I told you this. We have a Showtreon group, and I posted it there that Be More Chill is going to London. Come on now. We will be talking after this, Lisa. Don't you worry.
Oh, it sounds like all three of us are going to be talking after this. Like,
can we recreate that Hamilton picture?
Oh my gosh, yes, but in London.
This is perfect.
I love it. Okay, well, everyone heard it now.
You heard it here first.
B-Way Show & Co. is going to London.
Da, 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 da. This sounds amazing. I'm so excited right now.
Again, show's over. All right, time to plan for London. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going, and this is our itinerary. So it's funny too because they're going to the Shaftesbury Theater, which is where Anne Juliet is, and which is very, I would say, conflicting to me because that means that Anne Juliet's not going to be there for the time being. They're coming back in later September. Don't you worry, everyone. But like to me, going to London and I don't get to also see Anne Juliet is like it's tearing up my heart when I'm with you.
See, I've seen a lot of videos about Anne Juliet, but I don't know a whole lot about Anne Juliet. So you'll have to listen. We've been in a panorama.
Sure happened.
A panorama and a social revolution all at the same time. It's been a crazy, crazy year. So I'll have to like dive into that one. I've seen the videos and they look great. It seems like a very British Moulin Rouge almost, like with the
Interesting. Yeah.
with the oh my goodness, like my brain is malfunctioning. I'm so stuck on Be More Chill London. Like I cannot formulate any other words.
And this is the time show broke Brooklyn. Let me tell you. Let me take over for a second and tell you about Anne Juliet, because everyone needs to know. It is fabulous. Anne Juliet is basically like if a squib came into my brain and said, what would be your ideal musical and what are your favorite types of songs? And then it created Anne Juliet, is basically how it is, because it's all those 90s songs. I mean, it's some 2000 stuff as well, but it's like all that stuff with like Britney and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Katy Perry, but it's not like a jukebox musical in the sense that it's telling the story of Anne Juliet, but what if Juliet didn't die and she gets to tell her own story? Feminism.
Yeah, it's very interesting hearing you explain it that way, because Six is very like, when we talk about like the storyline of Six is very much so like that. Like, what if Henry VIII's 6 wives got to tell their story? So
that's not my story.
So I just wonder if like that's now a thing in British theater,
Right.
like putting women at the, which yes, but like putting women at the forefront of storytelling and reclaiming herstory. And that's
yeah. And let me tell you, like I did when I was in London, I saw Anne Juliet matinee 6 in the evening. What a day.
Ooh.
Bit of a day right there.
Hashtag bit of a day. I have never seen a West End show. I've never been to London. I did go to Paris a couple years ago to study abroad.
Did.
I did. And can you believe that nobody on the trip wanted to go see a show with me? Fun fact, Paris is a performance art mecca. They had so many shows, opera, theater, you name it. And nobody wanted to go see a show with me. What a tragedy.
Come on now.
Right.
You just weren't with the right crowd.
Right. What I should have done is hopped on that like 2-hour train under the English Channel and just gone to the West End and seen something. That's what I should have done.
Yep. Fair point. Yes. So, okay. We are jumping around, which I love. I actually am kind of obsessed with this, but let's take a second because I want to make sure we get to the actual karaoke portion, even though we've been like singing this whole time. So what did you have in mind?
For karaoke?
Yeah.
Oh, I had absolutely nothing in mind. I'm all about winging it.
Yes.
I do have like a very long like competition list that is mostly comprised of show tunes. I'm actually,
those are my favorite.
It's so great. Like if you asked anyone, so fun fact, I once was a competitor in the Karaoke World Championships, which is an international brand. And I was a competitor in the World Karaoke Tour, which is also an international brand. Placed top 10 in North America in the World Karaoke Tour in 2019, I believe. I think that was my last competition season, because right before the pandemic hit in 2020, I became the Arkansas State Director for Karaoke World Championships. Now, I no longer am because of reasons, but then the pandemic hit, so I didn't really get the opportunity to be a director. But if you asked literally anyone in the competitive karaoke scene who knows me, oh, what is Brookelynn known for? Oh, she's the Broadway girl. Like my first year competing, which was 2016, my first season, I placed if I had competitive karaoke is very strange and the scoring is very strange. It's all about it's hardcore. It's about like building your set list and knowing like that like your first and second round song scores are combined to get you to round 3, and then 1, 2, and 3 are combined to get you to round 4. But the fourth song is a completely new score. 1, 2, and 3 don't count. So you always want your biggest and baddest song to be your number 3 to push you to 4 so that you have a brand new score to work with. Well, I was new. And if I had put this song where it needed to go, I would have placed 3rd in the state. But because it was the 3rd highest scored song of the whole competition, and it was Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again from Phantom of the Opera. Because my mom had passed away the previous year, and so that song like really, really resonated with me. And I remember like I was in this like beautiful black gown, which is still hanging up in my closet, and like my hair had been crimped, and like me and my sister the night before had sat and like hand sewed a fascinator with like a nice little like black fishnet veil. It was gorgeous. It was like, I'm not just tooting my own horn, just honk honk. It was great.
It sounds beautiful.
And I remembered like just belting this huge like emotional ballad, and then I come off the stage and I literally fell on the floor and started sobbing. And I'm of the opinion that if that is not the reaction you have after you just competed on stage, you did not give your all. And so that's what that one, and then Whisper from Evanescence, because I dressed up like a psych ward patient and it was like a whole to do, and so everyone remembers that one. It was very, very wild. But yeah, I'm literally known as like the girl who does Broadway, and everyone expects me every single year, whether it's just to perform or as a judge or as a guest or to compete. Everyone expects that I'm gonna have show tunes in my rotation, and of course I do. So
I just like didn't know this was a whole world competitive karaoke. It is fabulous.
It is. It is especially the Karaoke World Championships, which has been around. I'm sure Josh, who's the national director, is gonna kick me in the butt if I get this wrong. But I think it's like 20 years, or a little under, or a little over 20 years in existence.
Wow.
And it's, you know, kind of like how Broadway is very small, and so like everybody knows everybody, and it's a family.
Yeah.
The competitive karaoke community is like, imagine like a pinky nail amount of like the Broadway community, so it's even smaller.
Yeah. Wow.
There is no privacy. So we all like have a lot of love for each other, and we have a lot of we watch each other go through these journeys, like Miko, who was the 18, he was the 2018 national champion for men back. That was the last year, I believe, that the United States had a gendered category.
Oh, good.
It's completely non-gendered now. It's not just, you know, men competing with men and then when women competing in a women's category. It's like everybody's scored exactly the same.
Thank goodness.
And you're competing against everybody. So that was the last year that the United States had a gendered category. And then I think it was the first year that Worlds didn't have one, or maybe it was a year before that it didn't. But he was also the world champion that year, and was the first, I believe, I may get corrected after this, but I believe he was also the first transgender world champion.
Wow.
And I'll share it with you later, but
Please.
his final song was Andre Day's Rise Up. And I mean, like literally just thinking about it, like I've got chill bumps. Like it was so wonderful. And he's up there on this mic, just like belting the song. And like during the bridge, he pulls out like the trans pride flag. And it's just like this overwhelming, oh God, like the hairs on my arms are standing up talking about it. So wonderful performers. Like he lives in Minneapolis, and he does, it's not called cabaret. He does like cabaret performances. I wanted to say boudoir, but that wasn't correct. He does like cabaret, and
Wow.
Like I think he's like in a band too. He just released an album a year or two ago that's on Spotify, which I think is He, Him, His is the name of it.
Cool.
Or Him, His, He. I don't remember in what order they are, but it's something like that.
Well, look it up. I'm sure you'll find it.
But long story short, competitive karaoke actually leads a lot of people to go on to do other things. Like the 2016 world champion from Panama has now been on several Spanish speaking music shows. She's released a lot of music videos and albums.
Wow.
So it is small, but it opens a lot of doors for a lot of people. So it's great. It's fantastic. And I love it. I can't wait until we have live shows again so that I can get back into it, because this virtual thing is just not for me.
Yeah. So it's interesting because karaoke historically is a fun thing you do with friends and out at either a bar or, wherever it might be. And really feeds off of the audience energy, whether you have a great voice, whether you have a sometimes great voice. In my case, I have certain songs that I can sing very well, and for the most part my voice doesn't meet the requirements, but I have that enthusiasm which people really need in karaoke. In competitive karaoke, I'm guessing it is more about both the presentation but also the nice vocal cords.
Right. So the World Karaoke Tour and Karaoke World Championships score a little bit differently. There's 4 categories in KWC and 3 categories in WKT. And I know more about KWC, so that's just the one that I'll talk about. There's the voice, which is just, can you hit a note? There's stage presence, like, do people believe the thing that you are putting there? Like, are you entertaining? And stage presence includes a lot of things that like you don't think about. Like when you take the mic off the mic stand, do you move the mic stand behind you so that it's not upstaging you? Like a lot of things that like you just don't think about that are counted in something like stage presence. Then you have artistry, which is going to be like, it's very ambiguous. I've judged in KWC before, and when I think of artistry, I kind of think of it in the same vein as stage presence because they kind of go together. But it's like, do you make the song your own, or do you just sing it like the original artist sings it? And then there's vocal technique, which is, is there dynamics? Is your voice placement correct? Like, are you, because I know, I'm sure that anyone who's watching who's like a professional performer will tell you, like, when people belt, it's not actually, it shouldn't actually come from your chest voice. You use a lot of like your nasal cavity and like being able to place that powerful voice in the correct spot so that you don't damage your voice. And so it doesn't sound like you're screaming. Like a lot of things like that. Like, are you using proper vocal technique? Are you adding things into the piece that you're doing that shows that you have a good understanding of how the voice functions? And so when I say competitive karaoke, people are like, but it's like, it's legit. Like in my personal opinion, I dead ass wish that someone would come along and produce like make KWC a competitive show, because it is so much more intense than The Voice. Like so much more intense. Like it's wild. It is so wild. And there's videos on YouTube from past competitors, both with KWC USA and just the world's KWC, that you can find and just see how wild it gets. Like 2016 Panama, Astrid, her name was Astrid. Her final song, that won her the competition, was All by Myself. Ugh. And that beautiful, just like piano musical interlude, she set the mic down, pulled her shoes off, and did an entire like ballet routine.
Oh goodness.
So I'm getting chills again. So it's like, it's legit. It's, wow. I mean, it can, locally it can be just going out with your friends. Here in Arkansas, competitive karaoke is huge. There's like 3 or 4 different national competitions that operate in Arkansas. Wow. KDBC is the one that's been here the longest. And there's local competitions too. And when any of us who were known like in the competitive scene go out to a karaoke night, like everybody in the bar knows, oh shit, we're about to like see some legit stuff. And so it's fun. It's great. I love it. I highly recommend it to anyone who is like wanting to break into the theater scene. Do competitive karaoke like at this level, because you're gonna get judged on your stage presence, and you're good. Like there are people who even work in Broadway who also do stuff at KWC, like Katie Powell, who is a vocal coach for a lot of competitors in the KWC, has done vocal coaching for performers off Broadway, on Broadway. I believe her degree is in theater, but I'll have to look that up. But I think that is correct. Her ex-husband was a theater technician on Bat Out of Hell. So there are people in the professional theater industry that are also in the competitive karaoke community. So you never know who you're going to meet.
This is bonkers. This is amazing. I just, I feel like I have to say, this is exactly the type of reaction that I'm giving you is the reaction people would give me when, like, in college. I was like, I play Quidditch. And they're like, okay. I'm like, it's really competitive. I competed at the Quidditch World Cup, and I was the director of videography in Oxford, England. And they were like, wait, really? I'm like, yeah, it's really a big thing. So I just, it's different. And yes, I will just say I stand with the trans community, and I'm glad that like I had that experience back then when we thought that it was all a positive thing. And now obviously Harry Potter is a bit more divisive, as I guess it happens when you find out the writer who you thought was this great person is actually horrible. So that's a whole different subject. But, those experiences, it was a positive thing and very inclusive. And, but yeah, just having something that's like very niche that people don't know about, or that they know about in some form, and have like a very different interpretation of what it actually is if you're like in that world. Amazing.
Like the reaction you're giving me is the reaction that I had, because I got into it literally. I just moved back to Arkansas after living in Washington State for a few years, and
that's where I am right now.
Hey, where you at?
I'm in Arlington Heights. Boom.
I lived in Kitsap County, which may mean nothing to you, but about a 45-minute ferry ride from Seattle.
Oh, nice.
To the west. Ferry. I could have driven 5 minutes downtown in Silverdale and like put my feet in Puget Sound. So,
and Andy over here. Hey, Andy.
Hi.
Andy and I went on a ferry ride in Seattle for my birthday, and it was fabulous.
Oh, which ferry did you take?
Andy, tell us.
Listen, something about the popcorn. So popcorn is my absolute favorite snack of all time. Like, I will not even go see a movie, but I will go to the movie theater and pay $10 for a bucket of movie theater popcorn. Yes, I will. The popcorn, like this sounds so silly because it's so specific and strange, but the popcorn on the ferries is so good.
I had no idea.
So I literally, whenever I would take the ferry, I'd get a Monster energy drink and 2 things of popcorn, and that was my snack. Because I used to work at a metaphysical shop in downtown Seattle, and so I took the ferry a lot.
Wow.
And it's free. Oh, my cord is just like like wrapped up in my hair.
Fix the hair.
Right. It's free to walk on the ferry from anywhere to Seattle. But it's like, at least when I was there, it's probably gone up now. It was like $6 from Seattle back. And so I would park my car.
Bainbridge,
right?
Oh,
Bainbridge. I've been to Bainbridge.
It was so cute.
They have a thriving theater community in Bainbridge. Yeah. Fun fact, in case you didn't know.
Ginger, get the popcorn. We love a West Wing reference. Thank you, Lisa.
I love popcorn. So if you ever go back, the popcorn on the ferries is really, really good.
I wonder if they have it now because of COVID. That might be why we didn't see it.
No, maybe. I'm sure there's a lot of things different about ferry transport with COVID. Yes.
Hopefully it'll get back. But okay, this has gone in so many different ways and I'm obsessed. Truly, I've said that 5 times, but like I love it. I love it so much.
I have popcorn brain, literally. Like
who doesn't? So, okay, I do want to, like, if I may, because we spoke about this, but if you don't want to, that's also cool. Like, okay. I would love to hear some sort of show tune that you sing for karaoke that maybe you could give us a sample of. How do you feel about that?
I feel that that's fine. I've got all of my competition pieces in a nice little Spotify playlist. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll hit play on Spotify and shuffle, and whatever pops up is what it's going to give me.
Let's get that Spotify popcorn song right now.
That Spotify popcorn song. All right, what did it give me? Oh, okay. It gave me, this is like a very sad ballad. It gave me With You from Ghost the Musical, which... my life is so strange. So before I do this, I want to give a little insight. So I am, that year that I competed in WKT and I placed in top 10 in North America. That's how I met Katie Powell, who would end up coaching me for about half a year. As she wrote on because I opened the show with The Girl in 14G, which is popularized by Kristen Chenoweth. My second song was I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. And then my third song was Always Starting Over from If Then the Musical. And so she wrote on my Always Starting Over a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things she wrote was she suggested 2 songs to me. One of them was All That Matters from Finding Neverland. She suggested that one. And then she suggested With You from Ghost. And I had never heard of either one of them. Like, apparently I live under a rock. So, I went home after the competition, learned it, practiced it, whatever. My Muggle job, I'm not anymore, but I was a theater technician at a local, at my university's theater, but not like the theater that the students use, like the big, huge theater that, Broadway shows will come and tour to. And so a lot of the time would run lights, like run the spotlight. And so I'm up there in the spotlight booth with their like lighting guy and we're just talking. And I can't even remember. I think it was SpongeBob that I was doing spotlight for. No, I did wardrobe for that show. I can't remember which show it was. I've done so many shows at that theater. But we're talking and he apparently was on the lighting team for Ghost the Musical. And so it's just like... all the things in my life just keep connecting. I'm not sure I assume this is gonna have to be a cappella because I don't have a way to like stream the music through your thing. I don't think
you could also, a lot of people will play a track like at a low to medium.
We're gonna figure out how to do that. We're gonna figure out how to do that. Hold on. Let me.
Can't hear you yet. Keep going. Oh no. We've lost all audio. I can't hear you now. I love the idea. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear anything.
What about now?
Hey!
Okay, so the thing is that my headset is set up. I'm trying to figure out how to switch it to where the sound comes through my speakers. And not through my headset.
So there's a settings over here. Yeah. We are going live theater, y'all. So there's settings. And then there's audio. And you can click on...
Okay, here we go. You can hear me still, right?
I can hear you.
Okay, here. This is what we're gonna do. I hate they say so part of like preparing for competition is they say that you always want to perform your music in front of a giant mirror so that you can like see your facial expressions. I hate looking at myself. Yeah. Okay, here we go. With you, Ghost the Musical Karaoke. I have to like take out my cough drop. Sorry, that was really gross. I think this is as high as it's gonna get. It's not playing. Oh, I'm an idiot. Can you hear this? Like, can you hear that? Okay, cool. So we're just gonna vibe with it and hope that it goes well. So this is With You from Ghost the Musical. I never got to compete with this song. It is still a work in progress. But it was suggested to me by Katie Powell, and so here we go. I picked up your shirts this morning. I don't know why. I don't know why. Mr. Reynolds said to say hello. I started to cry. I started to cry. Every place we ever walked in, everywhere we talked, I miss you. You never leave my mind. So much of you is left behind. You took my days with you. Took my nights with you. Those unfinished conversations we used to have still speak to me, and I write you letters every day that I'll never send and you'll never see. All this wishful thinking gets me nowhere. I can't stay. Though my heart is broken, it keeps breaking every day. You took my hopes with you. Took my dreams with you. I keep thinking that you'll be calling. Everyone says that it's all in my head, and I can't accept it yet. I'm not ready to just give in. I know that I can't live in this pain with these feelings of regret. I can comprehend this and pretend that I don't care. Any place I wanna be, I wanna see you there. You God. So Arkansas's pollen is so bad right now. And I literally felt, I was like, oh, I can't belt this. The like my sinuses are so stopped up. So
That voice.
If I had been scored on that, I would have been scored on technique because it was improperly placed, but I had to do what I had to do so that I didn't hurt myself.
Please, that is the most important.
So yeah, that's one in the making.
Thank you. Thank you for singing that.
Thank you for letting me sing it.
That is so cool.
Beat red face.
Yeah, right. It's so interesting. Like, I know a lot of Broadway, and Ghost has popped up on my Spotify a few times. So I was like, oh, nice. Like, they're always so good, but I'm not as familiar with it. So hearing them, I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. This is good.
I'm known for my ballads. I don't know. I just connect really well with the things that are like a little slower and really emotional. Like some of the, some of the other things on this list are like In My Dreams from Anastasia, Natalie Weiss's Quiet, Don't Forget Me from Smash. I joke all the time with the people in the competitive karaoke community. That's a lot of, I joke with them all the time. I'm like, You Ought to Know is officially Broadway now. So now if I compete with that, it's still a show tune. So,
if you do that, I need video.
Oh my goodness. Well, and I would only do it if it was, I'm going to get probably so much flack for this, but I actually like the orchestration of the Broadway version way better than the original. It's just so much more dramatic, and I'm a theater person, so I'm all about the drama.
All about the drama.
I need a cough drop now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, thank you. That was so great. I Lisa saying this, and I agree. I want to hear Brookelynn sing On My Own.
That's actually also in my repertoire. It's actually when I go out, it's my warm-up song.
On My Own is my warm-up song.
It is. It is. I'm classically trained, so like the stuff for like Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera, stuff that sits really, really well in my legit. Great. Anything I'm very new, like just within the last couple of years, new to like healthy belts. So that stuff is still a little hard for me. But yeah, On My Own is a warm-up song.
That's so good. Okay, so I want to make sure we have some time to talk about a nonprofit / charity that you want to shout out.
I'm so excited about this part. So, full disclosure. I just knocked over my light. It's fine.
You look fabulous.
Thank you. So, I've been in social activism for like 10 years, but especially during the pandemic. We had a lot happen last year. We had the murder of Breonna Taylor. We had the murder of George Floyd. And it just, it's been a really, really difficult year. And so, I became very, very physically active in boots on the ground activism. I started training and now am a street medic. I did my 20-hour training to be a street medic, which is a fancy term for if you get hit with tear gas or rubber bullets, I know how to treat you. I know how to take care of you. I know how to get you to safety. So I spent a lot of time in the streets with activists, with organizers, and I discovered, just how important it is to have the security of knowing that if something happens to you in those streets, that your legal fees are going to be taken care of. Because, a lot of people, when they say that they don't want to get out in the streets, they worry about getting arrested. Like that's a pretty legit fear, especially with the way that things are right now. But the Little Rock Freedom Fund, I'm very, very passionate about. One of my closest comrades started the Freedom Fund, her and a couple of other really well-known local organizers. It is done through Decarcerate, which is another nonprofit that deals with previously incarcerated individuals, currently incarcerated individuals. They're run by prison abolitionists, and they do a lot of stuff with prison reform. I know the big thing right now is like ending solitary confinement in Arkansas. But the Little Rock Freedom Fund, if you get arrested, they have a team of lawyers that will represent you pro bono or pretty inexpensively. And if you can't afford a lawyer, the Little Rock Freedom Fund helps pay for the lawyer. They help pay for you to get out of jail. They pay your bail and pay any fines or fees associated with any guilty verdicts. So I'm very open and honest about the work that I do. So I've been arrested. And they have been very, like, they have helped me get out of jail. They have helped me pay my fees associated with my misdemeanors, and just having that security so that people know, okay, I can do this. I am more likely to take these risks for social justice, for Black and Indigenous and queer and trans liberation, because I know that I'm not going to have like a $10,000 bill waiting on me when I get out. So if you are also passionate about social justice, specifically the Black Lives Matter movement, and also very much so all of the anti-trans legislation happening around the country. I know Arkansas is one of the absolute worst states right now with all of the bills that passed this legislative session. If you're passionate about any of those things, highly, highly, highly recommend the Little Rock Freedom Fund. They do take care of us. They have supported the street medics really well here. They've supported the activists really well here. There are currently ongoing cases that they are helping to support right now that the people currently dealing with those cases would not have legal support if it had not been for the Little Rock Freedom Fund. And you can find them on Facebook. I know I do not believe that there's an Instagram or a Twitter, but the person who started the Little Rock Freedom Fund, Dawn Jeffries, she also is the head organizer of Neighborhood Activists, NAYBORHOOD. So not neighborhood, but like NAY, neighborhood. Neighborhood Activist is on Instagram, and they post about the Freedom Fund all the time.
Thank you for sharing all that. I had a feeling that when I asked about a nonprofit or charity, you would talk about this, because you've been so active and on your activism, and so much last year with your social media has been dedicated to that. And I appreciate you doing that.
Yep. I made the decision because I had made a Twitter solely for Yes Broadway because I wasn't a Twitter person. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I need something to interact with colleagues or whatever. But I have changed and I'm sure you knew when you started tagging me for today, I've changed all of my stuff to Siren the Medic. My social media is pretty solidly dedicated to social justice. It's in my bios. Not shy about it. I'm very, very open and upfront and honest about the work that I do. I'm very blessed with Yes Broadway that I work with a team of equally as radical and aggressive people. As I'm sure most of you know, Yes Broadway released a statement a week or two ago, straight up stating that we would not take shows where the people producing that show or creating that show was an all-white team or an all-white cast. So, and we've told people no. So I'm very, very blessed with that. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are not as fortunate in their professional life to be able to be as open about the work that they do in the streets. I am, and I try to use every single bit of that blessing to get as much work done as possible.
As merch done?
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I remember when Sam and Yes Broadway posted that, I thought, okay, that's great. Putting your money where your mouth is. And it's really, we've been talking a lot about, like, it's phenomenal that Broadway's coming back and all these things are coming back, but we can't go back. We must move forward. What are specific instances that these theater companies are going to do to make sure that they're doing specific anti-racism training, that they're doing things to make sure everyone feels safe? Are there specific HR in place? Not like, I'm thinking specifically, Diana on Broadway just released this note about, you know, what they're doing to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, and this is what they're working on, and you can call this specific number if something happens. And, you know, we need more stuff like that, because we can't have a whole summer of social justice and then go back and then things are just as bad as they've been. And people like Karen Olivo and Adrienne Warren, who are these huge names on Broadway, are taking a stand. But why are people of color the ones always doing the, you know, sacrifice? And I really hope that more changes are going to happen and equity and equality happen. Yeah.
Well, and this, a big part of it is, I know that we all miss theater and we all really want to get back to that moment before curtain. I know we all want to get back there, but those of us who have the power and the privilege of being able to make decisions and be able to choose every single day whether or not we're going to interact with Broadway, because, you know, a lot of people don't know that Broadway stars don't make a whole lot of money. Like, it's and it's like the same handful of people that own most of the theaters, that own most of the producing companies. So it's very hard as a performer, especially a performer of color, a queer performer, a trans performer, to take that kind of stand, because that directly will harm their ability to pay their bills. Yeah. And so I am of the personal opinion, this is not like a Yes Broadway opinion, this is a me, Brookelynn opinion. Yeah. I am of the opinion that it starts with the ticket buyers.
It does.
If you truly are about the thing that you say that you are about, then, and, you know, you want theater to be back and you want it to be back the right way, then as a community, because I am of the opinion that the audience is just as much a part of this community as the tech people, as the production companies, as the performers. Like, we're all in this together. We have to also stand together. There's power in numbers. You know, when we say power to the people is us. Like, we are the people. It's not this entity that's over here somewhere that we're like, oh, whatever. No, like, we are the people. And we have to say enough is enough. We have to no longer give them our money, because if they're like, if you look at like the history of the labor movements, general strikes, like, don't give them any money. They cannot thrive without money. And when money is the unfortunate driving force that moves this entire machine, put a wrench in the machine. And I'm a little radical. So of course I'm going to be like, no, like, if the, you know, Daveed Diggs did, you know, his, I'm just going to assume everyone knows who that is.
I think that's a fair assumption.
He's also the lead of a group called Clipping. Yes. And last year they released chapter 319, which is on my protest playlist. Great thing. But he says in the chorus of that song, this whole, can I cuss on this show? Can I do that?
Go for it.
This whole fucking country is about where that money, or is about that money. So watch where your money goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
And you have to watch where your money goes. And this is just, I could literally talk about this for hours. So please stop me at any point. But we have to support the performers who literally dance on a stage for our entertainment. Like, that is how I feel about it. Like, you want to, like, as audience members, we make all of these demands of the performers who are working, you know, they're doing 8 shows a week. Never mind any press appearances that they have to do. Never mind any rehearsals that they have to do. Never mind any self-care that they have to do, their personal lives, getting paid pennies to do it. And how I feel, we should not have, like, how dare we have the audacity to then not support them when they desperately need us?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my opinion on the whole situation. And that also, that doesn't just stop at not buying tickets. That means finding their personal cash apps and their personal GoFundMes and paying those performers so that they can do those strikes and make those decisions and not have to worry about putting food in their mouths. Like, I know, I'm sure I believe it's the Broadway Advocacy Coalition that cropped up that is kind of tackling all of this. I'm sure if someone reached out to them, was like, hey, I want to help take care of these performers so that they don't have to go back to unsafe working conditions. Can you compile, just ask, can you compile a list of cash apps that we could just cash app these people?
Right.
If we are Broadway fans, we're in the industry, but we both started there as fans. Like, we started as fans first, and a lot of us
still
did.
am.
Right, exactly. And a lot of us did. If we are the Broadway fans that we say we are, then we have to be in solidarity with those who are saying that enough is enough. It means showing up to the actions. It means showing up to the marches and taking the things that you see in those streets home with you, and not just, oh, I went to this march today and took a cute selfie for Instagram and Twitter and then forget about it. Like, you have to do the work. You have to send those emails, make those phone calls. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm burping. And you have, and direct action. The protests that happened outside of West Side Story is a really good example of a direct action. I believe at one point, they had to move stage door, or move where people were coming in because the protest was so disruptive.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. Be disruptive. Be disruptive. And you are absolutely correct. It should not fall on, in my opinion, it should not fall on the performers to do this, because we're the ones who benefit. And it really should not fall on people of color to dismantle a system that we're the ones who put in place to begin with. And by we, I mean just whiteness as a construct. Yeah. So please shut me up, because I will go on and on and on and on and on.
I think what you're saying is very valid. And, I was watching the March on Broadway stuff. I'll be returning to New York soon enough and can take part in that stuff in person. But Sis held something on her Instagram and a Zoom thing, and that was really strong. But also just support their individual shows, when they host a show at 54 Below or something like that, and you can specifically go and support the artists telling their story or doing these songs that either they wrote or they compiled, whatever it might be. That's also another good way to make sure that you're supporting specific artists for their art. And if you're able to, send money their way or send money to the cause, yes, please. It's a very difficult time for everyone financially. And I know that that's not always an option. So do what you can do. Send money if you can. Show your support. And like you're saying, listen to the leaders of these organizations. Some people, there's been some back and forth about the boycott Broadway of it all, because on one hand, yes, we speak with our money, and if we don't buy tickets, then what's going to happen? But at the same time, a lot of these actors have been out of work for a year and a half. So boycotting, is that going to do the thing? And then they don't get paid, even though they're not getting paid that much. I'm just saying, I've been listening to what the activists have been saying, and there's a lot of tough aspects in that specific realm of what to do. But any way you can support the artists and really show your support in that way, and just listen to them. Say, I see you, I hear you, and follow their lead. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. 100,000%. And I completely agree in the regard of, performers being out of work for so long. And that's why it's got to come, you know, if we're talking general strike, it's got to come with community support. Like you can't, you can't just expect people to like chokehold the money and then not have mutual aid in place to then take care of these people so that they can do that. They could do the work that they need to do. And we could do the work that we need to do to make sure that Broadway is a safe place for everyone to return to.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for all of that. And on that note, we've gone over, and I appreciate you giving us the time and your energy. So I want to say, remind everyone where they can find you on social media.
I am at Siren the Medic on Twitter and on Instagram. I also am a gamer. And so if you ever want to like play games with me, I play World of Warcraft. I like a lot of horror survival games. I'm also Siren the Medic on Steam.
Oh.
So you could follow me on Steam, send me a message, send me a friend request. I'm really not picky about who I play games with.
Cool.
So if you're a gamer, if you love theater, if you love social justice,
all that jazz.
Right.
Yes. 2-player game. We love it. And y'all can find me at BWaySHO, that's BWAYSHO, on all social media platforms, and at BWaySHO Podcast for all of your BWaySHO, the podcast needs. We have some great people on the podcast already that you can check out. Mr. Joe Iconis and Lauren Marcus. We have Sis, Anissa Folds, Fergie L. Philippe, Alex Brightman. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ezra Minas, L. Morgan Lee. We've had 22 episodes out already, I'm pretty sure. I am so thank you, my friend. Proud of you too. And we have some exciting announcements coming out soon, so stay tuned to social media, especially in the next week or two. What? That's all I'm gonna say. Whoop.
Oh.
Whoa.
You gonna give me the tea?
Maybe when we disconnect, my friend. Yes, I will. And yeah, so I'm very excited about all that. And you can become a Showtreon. That's the BWaySHO Patreon squad. If you want to support this artist, just head over to patreon.com/BWaySHO. We do weekly trivia, monthly video chats. We had a High School Musical sing-along the other day. I mean, it is just, if you want something theater related, we'll make it happen. And on that note, was there anything else that you came into today wanting to make sure to get out there?
Black Lives Matter all day, every day, till the end of time. Period.
Yep. Cosign.
Black
Lives Matter. Black trans lives matter. Stop Asian hate.
Black queer lives matter. Black immigrant lives matter.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
Period.
I come from an immigrant family. It's something that, you know, I talk about my heritage: Brazilian, Egyptian, Italian, American, Jewish, which is different than Zionism. Woo. And just any time that you want to talk about something social justice related, please message me, message Brookelynn, and we will talk about it because it is important stuff. And on that note, I thank you so very much for coming on the series today.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. And thank y'all for watching and typing along. This was fabulous. This conversation will continue to be on YouTube at the same link. So if Link Larson, what? So so if you're watching this in the future, I hope the future is treating you well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the show. Bye, y'all.